And welcome to episode number 12 here, Calling Them Out. My name is Juan Palacios, professional baseball trainer, and now the number one podcast for high school baseball in Maryland and in all the Mid-Atlantic baseball right now. So we're going to have a new concept right now on Mondays that is going to be Daddy Ball Mondays, so you can actually send and call and do whatever you want, with your son. Send us the videos, or we're going to have the line actually so you can call, so you can say what your son did. I've been receiving a lot of messages, a lot of calls about stats, about kids that they're playing JV, they're playing travel ball. I know that you want me to play and to pay more attention to travel ball. There is not a lot of travel ball right now. High school is what is in right now. And we are actually broadcasting to the college baseball page, high school baseball page, YouTube. We're going into my personal page and also into Palacios Baseball Clinic. And tonight, we're rolling the red carpet because we got Justin Quinn, one of the best, if not the best, bat manufacturer in the United States. So, Justin, say hi to everybody from calling them out.
Hey, guys, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to talking to Juan tonight.
Yeah, and then, of course, our producer tonight, again, is Mr. Matt Jerrier. He's one of the best, and he's not eating pizza for the first time here. So, Justin, thank you. I've been a customer of you maybe you've been doing fungus with me maybe for 7-8 years. Yep. Now that was the first order that I found that I bought. I didn't know you back then. It was just a guy that made really good fungus. I tried it on my hands. It was starting that, so I needed a live fungo. And back in the day, you were one of the few that were just customizing.
Yeah, it was all hand turned.
It was hand
turned. Whatever the
turned.
customer wanted, I made it happen.
Everything, it was just, if I go to any sporting goods, they were only 36, the Birch, the Rollins, the one that they sell or whatever, that was too heavy for me. And then somebody just recommended me to, hey, there is a guy who does this custom bat that they can actually do a 33 or a 34 for you. And then that's how I end up buying your product without knowing you. Now, we're in business. We're doing a lot of things really good in Baltimore. But today we're going to talk about your journey. Because the first time that I did an order for you, I think you were doing it actually at your home. Can you get us through how you start making bats?
Yeah, so I broke several bats in one tournament. My team was one of the best teams. We all had lefties, and so they'd bring in lefty ringers, some minor league guys, some professional pitchers to pitch against us. Definitely avoided their contract, but they didn't care because if they won, then we could protest. But anyway, long story short, I broke a bunch of bats and I had to figure out how to make a bat. And so I went into studying it as if it was another college project because I was fresh out of college. And I broke the last bat my dad bought me, and he gave it to me for my birthday. It's in April coming up. And he goes, this is the last bat that I'm buying for you. If you want to keep playing, you got to buy them yourself. So I broke it, went back to see how much it was. I couldn't afford it right out of college.
Oh, wow.
So I had to figure out a way to make my own bats. And I figured it's a piece of wood, it's a tool, and it's a lathe. I got to be able to figure this out. I did.
Yeah, you mentioned college. Can you get us through your playing careers in college baseball? And did you sign professional baseball or?
I did sign professional.
No. Can you get us through what is your expertise right now in experience in baseball?
Yes. So after high school, I went down to Surrey Community College in North Carolina. We were a D1 powerhouse back in the day. And then while I was there, I had to get Tommy John surgery. So I got a nice little scar and 5 little incisions where they took it out.
Okay.
And it came back throwing gas. I actually had a healthy arm.
Yeah.
And but so from there, I went to Garrett College. And because back at the time in early 2000s, that was a big surgery.
Yeah.
And my coach was like, I can't risk it. And so I said, all right. And went to Garrett College, called him up and said, hey, this is what I offer. He goes, I'd love to have you. Absolutely, come. He goes, I don't have to see you. Just come and show me what you got. Ended there, and then finished up my playing days at Wilmington University with Brian August. And one of the best years of my life.
Yeah, Brian Ellis is one of the best coaches that I know there were back in the day. Does he still coaching?
Oh, yeah.
Because I know he was really good. He was
Same.
really, he was actually really disciplined, and he gave a lot of love to their players. Plus, he knows how to make a team. He knows how to get a lot of good players around and make winning teams.
He pulls out the best. He finds your weakness
Yep.
and makes your weakness one of your strengths. And with his coaching style, you either step up to the challenge and succeed or you don't. But the thing I love about Og is he gives everybody an opportunity. And he might not agree with me, but the way I saw it from my perspective, he gives everybody an opportunity to fail. But with that being said, you also have the opportunity to step up to the plate, be a man, and get the job done. And I respect that more than anything. And great human being, great coach. Brought my game up. There's still days where I'll be doing something, splitting firewood, and I'll think back to something he told me and it clicks. And it's like, oh my God, I can't get you out of my head, man. But one of the most knowledgeable guys I've ever met. And I'm thankful to have the opportunity to been able to play for him.
Let's go back to when you start doing your first bat and how the technology has changed over the years, because I had seen your shop now, right? So what equipment were you using back in the day to do your bats, and what was the requirement that you were needed to perform just a wood bat?
So it all started out with a 1953, that's the date, not the model, 1953 Rockwell Delta belt-driven lathe. And I actually got that because I helped a guy push his Kawasaki street bike. Just got remade. I forget what it's called when you fix up a truck or a car. But anyway, it broke down, so I helped him push it up a hill. It was after a baseball game, and it's beautiful. And I mean, I like landscape. We got a lot of cornfields up where I'm from, so I went to the top of this field to take a bunch of pictures. And I saw this guy pushing it up, and he said, "Nah, man, I'm good. I'm just around the bend." And so I said, "I'm going to go take some pictures. And if you're still here when I'm done, I'm going to help you push this bike up." He maybe made it 30 feet. So I parked my truck and I started pushing. He called his wife. She drove my truck up, and it was around the bend, around another bend, around another bend. And these bends are uphill.
Oh, wow.
It's quarry road. It's straight uphill. So we got to talking. And he goes, "If you could do anything in life, what would you want to do?" I said, "Easy, make bats." He goes, "What do you mean make bats?" I said, "Make wooden baseball bats." And he goes, "Do you have any?" I said, "Yeah, I've got a bunch of them." So I pulled the bats out of my bag because I still had it in my truck from when I left the game. And he checked them out and he goes, "Have you got a lathe?" And I said, "Yeah, I do, but it's a pretty crappy one. I had a lathe that I couldn't even turn a bat on." He goes, "I got one. It's in the basement." I said, "No way." So he goes, "Come on Saturday. If you want to take it, it's yours." And so he gave me the tools. He gave me the lathe, and I think a grinder. And so I started with that one, turned a lot of bats on that lathe, a lot of bats. And then I was still working the construction field after college. Luckily, I was working with my dad, some of the best times I ever had. Being able to spend time with my best friend, my dad, every single day. We drove to work, drove back from work together, but I wasn't making enough money to be able to invest enough into making baseball bats. And I had to clean out a trailer. And this trailer was an absolute mess. And so I sat down on the bucket and started looking through Facebook Marketplace. And I found my lathe. It's a Riken. I think it's like a 60-inch bed, 46 center to center. It was for sale for 3 weeks. And I've been searching for about months, years almost even, to try to find one. And I had it. I found it. I called him up and I said, "Hey, I'm sure this thing is sold, but is it available?" And the lady said, "It sure is." I said, "I'll be there. When can I meet you?" So I called my buddy, Petey Harbach, and he's also my son's godfather, best friend. And I said, "Hey, man, can we go pick this lathe up?" He goes, "Absolutely. When are we doing it?" I said, "Tomorrow morning." He goes, "I'm there. What time do you need me to be there?" So we picked up the lathe, brought it back, and I've turned every single bat up to the point where we moved into our new facility on that green Riken lathe.
Oh, wow.
and had a bunch of other ones in between just to try them out. I always thought, like when I was a kid, or well, once I realized a jet lathe was the like creme de la creme. They're very nice lathes,
Yeah.
but I still have my jet lathe. It's in the shop now. I use it for staining and sanding, but it's more of a memento and a keepsake than anything. Because in my mind, when I was trying to get to where I want to get to, jets were the best. Because there was one guy who made bats on a jet lathe. I'm like, well, if he's making bats, a lot of them on a jet lathe, I got to get a jet lathe. So once I got that jet lathe, I was like, yo, I've made it. I've made it as a wood turner. And it turns out, man, that jet lathe is nice. It's very nice, but it wasn't the same jet lathes that all these other people were using. And then it was all hand turned at the time. And people would ask, do you have a machine that does this? Like when I go to shows or tournaments or media days or anything, people would ask me. And I said, yeah, my machines are right here.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's all done by hand. Turn it, skew it, gouge it, caliper it, sand it. Most all of it got to the point where I had my bat sitting up on top, and it got to the point where it was all by feel, and I'd feel it. Maybe when I was done, I'd check it with the calipers, but they were all at that point within about 0.08 0.1 of an inch, and I got really good at it. But it took a long time. It took a long time to get that good.
I know. I've seen you doing that personally, so it's been a really good journey. You know, with the experience that I'm getting now with the company that you are with now, that it's been just really good to see you how you use your hands and the product that you're putting out there. What is the difference between the bats that you manufacture over any other company that you're doing?
It's our wood. It's where we get our wood. It's where the wood is grown. I can't necessarily say where I get it from.
Yeah.
It's kind of a trade secret. But from day one, I've always said your bat's only as good as the wood it's turned from. And from the very first day till now, I'll put my reputation, I'll put my neck on the line that our bats are, I'll put up against anybody, any company, literally any company. And so we get some of the best wood, the hardest wood, the densest wood. The wood is good.
Yeah, well, I test even the birch. We test the birch here. He gave us almost 22,000 swings. So that was good. And the guy who break it is because he didn't know how to use birch.
Okay.
It was just people don't know that there is when you got birch, you have to actually to put a point in to the close grains to hit the ball. If you hit the ball on the open grains, then the ball is going to lose his value or the tension. Can you go over that so they learn how to use a birch bat?
Yeah, so birch is different from ash. Birch and maple are very similar, as well as European beech. Sweet, we got a bat here.
Yeah, I got a bat, yeah.
Nice. Make sure I don't get the microphone in the way.
But that one is maple, so
Yep.
yeah, because I only use your maple because ash and birch, they usually you have to be careful with the close grain. With the pro maple, you don't have to. With the pro maple, you can hit it whenever you want. For me, it's the best wood to have a bat, to be honest with you. But can you go into ash and birch and talk about the open grain and talk about the close grain so they know how to use it?
Yeah, so it's called end grain and face grain.
Yep.
And on the flat spot, they call it face grain. I don't know if your cameras can see.
Yeah, right
it.
there. If you put
So
it,
if
you
you
point it here, you can
look at
Yep.
a bat, and you can see the circle.
Yep.
Imagine drawing a face, a smiley face.
Yep.
That's the easiest way to tell a face grain. And then the end grain is like the end of a paper.
Yep.
If you stack a bunch of papers, you touch the end of the paper. Now you see all the edges, and that's the end grain. And so maple and birch you're supposed to be hitting it on the face grain. But also with maple and birch, this is where it differs from ash. You can hit it anywhere on the barrel, and it'll do just as good. On ash, if you hit it on the face grain,
It's open.
it'll bend and break. But now if you hit it on the end grain, it's much stronger. I wish we had a ream of paper. I should have brought some. But it's the same.
Oh, we're going to have a part 2 of this. Don't worry about it.
But it's like if you've got paper, if you hold it, it's going to bend.
Yeah.
But if you put it on the end grain, you can smash it, hit it against something, and nothing's going to happen. But that's the main difference between ash and birch and maple.
Where do they usually put the labels in relation to the grain? On the face grain?
So on ash, you put it on the face grain.
Yeah.
So that when you look at it, you're looking at the face grain. So you hit it on the end grains.
So you want the label up.
Yep. You want to be looking at the label.
Gotcha.
And it had to be balanced. And it had to be in the direction of the north of the bat, actually. Mm-hmm. So those are the little things that I have learned about the difference. Is ash, birch, and maple the only 3 species that you're doing right now, or?
Right now, we are only doing ash, birch, and maple.
Okay.
I would like to get into the European beech.
Yeah, because that is the one that is more durable right now, and the one that it will give you the most swings out of the bat.
They say it's pretty darn good. I never initially got into it because it was too much money to get it from Europe to here, and anybody in the States who did have it charged a lot of money, and I didn't want to mess it up.
Yeah, I know.
So it was just too much money to be able to.
There were some companies that they were actually experimenting with teak wood, but then the teak wood got so expensive and you cannot even find it, right? Because of the humidity and the water and all that. What is the best storage that you can have for a wood bat?
What is the best storage?
Yeah, actually, do you keep it in the bag? Because the humidity and the water, wood doesn't know that it's dead, right?
No.
So if you have any type of wood and you get water, right, it's gonna expand.
It will expand
right?
and it will contract.
It will contract, yeah.
And when it contracts, it will split.
So people don't know this, but if you don't know this, wood doesn't know that it's dead. So if you put any water or any condensation or something inside the bat is going to expand, and then with the sun and with the heat, then it's going to contract. So, and that's going to damage your wood bat. And these wood bats are not cheap. You paid $150 to $100 for a custom bat, and guess what? You want to be taking care of that bat. So, how do you take care of the bat? Is something that maybe the dads that are watching this episode will learn from you.
I've made a couple posts about this, especially when I was back in my pole barn. For the early years, I didn't have heat in my pole barn.
Okay.
But I kept all my wood in climate controlled area, and then I would go turn it and then take it right back. But
yeah, because there is a lot of people that they just keep it in the back, keep it in the car. Humidity.
That's the worst thing.
Elements and all that are going to actually affect, the bat. They don't bring it inside the house. They don't take care of that, and then the bat just warp a little bit or breaks or doesn't have the same, tension that it needs to have just to perform, right? So,
and the biggest thing is keep it inside. I know it's always easiest, especially high school kids. When I was in high school, I kept my bag in my car. But with the wood, especially in cages, if it's freezing cold outside, if it's going to be freezing cold in your trunk, your bat's freezing cold, and if you don't give it proper time to warm up and acclimate to its normal temperature, you are hitting frozen wood. And when that frozen wood is hit, they break every time. The cold is the worst thing for it.
Yeah.
Not necessarily cold on cold. Like if you're playing in the middle of the winter and you're hitting a cold bat, it's cold outside, a little less likely to break. It'll hurt your hands if you hit it on the end. But if you take a cold bat inside, it'll most likely break. So whenever you're done, take it inside, treat it like it's an investment. I mean, these bats are not cheap, but the amount of money you're putting into it, treat it like the amount of money you paid for it. But going with the price a little bit here, I understand why. I understand why they cost a lot of money, because in order to get the quality of wood that we get, we are putting out a small fortune just for the billet.
Yeah.
And when I was playing, I got mad at a bat because I always thought that when I was hitting, The bat was well, I still do when I hit. The bat is an extension of me. It's an extension of my mind. It's an extension of my decisions to swing at a ball or not. And there was a time where I swung at a ball I shouldn't have hit, and I got really mad at the bat for swinging. And I got so mad at it, I slammed it on the ground, and I broke it. I would never purposefully break a bat ever again, knowing all the work, money, the years that went into growing this bat. If you don't understand what that means, it comes from a tree. And so prior to it becoming a bat, it was a tree. It was a shelter. It was habitat for other animals. I mean, it put oxygen back into our world. There's a lot more to a bat than just a bat that I see. So every bat I turn, there's a lot of passion that goes into every stick of wood that we turn.
I can tell you right now that bat, it was 37 to 43 years old. So you can tell by.
Oh, that's just that
number.
little bit that we cut, though.
Yeah.
Most every stick of wood we get comes from a tree that is up to 100 years old.
Oh, wow.
Most bats.
So your bats are really old.
Oh my God, they're older than I am. It's so funny. Like this bat right here has experienced more history, more storms, more life than I ever could have dreamed of right now. And
that bat actually looks like Matt. Actually, all fat and tired. So yeah. So that's really good to know. Paint or stain for the bat? Which one do you prefer?
I prefer stain.
Okay.
It comes back from my days working in the wood. And when you got a bat that's this pretty, when you got the wood that's this pretty, I like to show off the wood, because the wood itself is a work of art that comes straight from nature. It comes straight from the ground. Whatever your beliefs are, we all have our own. But the maker who designed this designed a beautiful piece of artwork here, and I like to showcase that in my bats. So when it comes to what I prefer stain. But when it comes to making the customers happy and making some disgustingly beautiful bats, disgusting is not the right word, but we make some sick bats. And the best way to do that sometimes is to use paint to make the colors, the exact colors you want. I mean, as you well know.
Yeah.
To be able to get exactly what the customer wants, which is my ultimate goal. If it's got to be paint, it'll be paint. But if I've got a little bit of freedom to play around with it and they're happy with stain, or if I say, hey, what if we do this in stain instead? They're like, I trust you. Like, you've been making bats, and every bat I've ever seen you make is beautiful. I trust you, Justin.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, let's do it.
So with the crazy things that you see, the pencil, bat right now, the Avengers bat right now, the Ninja Turtle bat right now, whatever, can you customize anything right now? You can do anything? Is that a sticker? Are you doing it? Are you guys doing it with just a pencil draw and do it, or how you think that well, I know that you know how they're doing it, but
there are two main ways that they're done. The one main thing is, one, you got to be a little bit of an artist. And I'm not knocking any artists, but in order to get some of those crisp lines to come up with, they use stencils.
Yeah.
And then from the stencil, so like the pencil bat, it's a beautiful bat. They'll basically tape it off, make the paint pink, or you'll start with your base color and then add the colors on top, stencil in the little metal piece, or they'll use tape to make the ridges of the hexagon of the pencil.
The pencil, yeah.
And then for the point and for the brown part of it, sometimes they just use the natural wood because it's wood anyway. Why put paint on it? And then they'll either make a stencil or cut tape to make that point where it matches up. And then some of these really expensive ones, it's beyond my capabilities right now. I am not that good of an artist as far as artwork goes.
Yeah.
But some of the really drastic designs, beautiful designs, are done all by airbrush. Like, it is truly artwork.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'll sell paint. So I know I get some crazy, weird, that's beautiful right there. Crazy, weird colors to make just airbrush and, tennis shoes and glove and whatever, because people are customizing everything right now. not only bats.
And the trick is to try to do what somebody else isn't, and to try to do what you do better than anybody else. And the one thing that I can say I know I do is provide the wood. Going back to the bat's only as good as the wood it's turned from. That's why we use the best freaking wood. And it goes back to the geographic region. When I was researching, I mean, you could look it up and find 2 really big distributors and then one out in, I think, Wisconsin and Washington.
Yeah.
We don't get it from them. I can say that. But it's the best geographical region to grow the trees from the soil.
So the
to
mills that
rain.
you're getting your wood are not those 2 typical that everybody else use.
No.
Okay.
And that's a little bit of the secret sauce. But like I said, it comes from the ground, comes from the trees, comes from the rain season, comes from the growing season, the winter season. And then also the reason that our bats are so strong and so dense is because of how stressed they are while they're growing. From the time they're a tiny little sapling to the time they're anywhere from 70 to 100 years old. Sometimes they cut a 105-year-old tree down. But it's being stressed by the winds. And our wood is being stressed from 5 different directions. That's your hint of where we get it from. But hands down.
If you want to know, you can ask me because I know. I seen the paperwork.
Yeah.
So what? With that said, I seen that there is some different. You got a new logo right now because when I used to buy bats from you and you were customizing the fungus for me, it was Queen O.
It was.
Well, I call it Quino.
Yeah.
Because, we're Latinos, we knew you for Quino. We were saying Quino bats, right? And you were having, I probably your 50%, your sales were from freaking Latino guys like me customizing that. And they were like Quino bats, right? And it was Queen O. And right now we see a new logo. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So Quino was my nickname growing up on the baseball field. And the bats started just black. I didn't have a finish, and I had some black paint, so I painted them in black to try to seal them. So that's how that got started. And then as it progressed, we basically went from the pole barn to a facility, our new facility that you've been to. And we've got CNC lathes, we've got sanding lathes. We basically have 2 or 3 of every machine we need to try to make as many bats as possible in a timely fashion to be able to get them out to our customers. And my last name is Quinn, and to be able to kind of pull the 2 together and to connect the reputation of the Quino bats, we kept the Q. And when I started up this company, I looked through, I'm probably giving you a low number, but over 12,000 names. And I'll be honest, I used AI, artificial intelligence to pop up. I put in a couple of different search parameters, and Quantum kept popping up. And it's exactly what we do. We make a certain amount. God, I should really remember the definition of quantum at this point. But if you look up the word definition of quantum, I could easily fill in how our bats are the definition of quantum to make the bat exactly what the customer wants.
That's really funny because, when the podcast, calling them out, when I put everything that I wanted to do, in the podcast, that's the AI actually from Snapchat, gave me 6 different names, but 3 of them were started with the word calling them, because I wanted just to show up people here, but at the same time, I want to educate them, be an entertainer, and also be funny, right? So try to accomplish everything with that. But the main thing was to call out those coaches that they were not doing the job, those dads that they were not taking care of their sons, those organizations that they were taking money out of the pocket of dads, and organizations that were actually not doing what they were supposed to do. They were lying. So I want calling them out on all that. And I understand when you mentioned the AI, how things are changing and how the AI intelligence right now are helping us to make really good decision on the business side
Well, I came up with a
of
good name for
everything.
calling him out because he
Yeah,
called me
true.
out, and I was like, I'd love to be on your podcast.
Yeah, so that's how everything start. If people wants to order bats, are you ready to take orders? Are you ready
We're
to do that
our
or?
website is up. We're gonna go live officially in the next week or so. We're hoping by the end of the week that our website is 100% live, 100% done, ready to go. But you can go on it now and order a bat.
Yeah.
We offer 5 different models in the adult, 3 different models in the youth. We've got our heavy bat trainer. We've got our hand speed trainer. That looks very similar to something else somebody else has
Yep.
seen, but 2-hand trainer. We call it the hand speed trainer. And we got our one-handed trainer. And then obviously the fungo bats.
Yeah, I got
Fungo
all of
bats,
them.
they're
I
hot.
test them, all of that. But right now you got the hand speed trainer. Right now in my hand I got the control power.
Yes.
What's that?
Controlled power is basically, it's very similar to an AP5 cut, but it's a balanced bat, but it still has, man, it's got a lot of pop to it. But a controlled power, you've got a knob that you can feel it. The handle is skinny enough where you can feel the bat all the way through the zone. It's got a medium to large barrel, and the sweet spot on that bat is pretty large. And so since the sweet spot's pretty big in the barrel is right at 2.5 inches, you could definitely get some knocks with that.
Is this control power bat is for games or just for training?
That's a game bat.
That's a game bat.
Yep.
All right, and you can do it any size.
We go up to 34 because not too many people really ever order a 34 and a half.
I noticed that in every bat that you put stain, you put like a little black dot here. What that means?
That little black dot represents the straightness of grain for our maples and our birches. With ash, you don't need it because you can literally see the straightness of the grain. If you got an ash that's squiggly, you can see it. But with maple and birch, it's much harder to see on the face grain, so we put an ink dot on it. And what you do is you look it up and line it up, and you're supposed to be able to see a straight line from the handle all the way to the barrel. And MLB is 2.86 degrees off the slope. And it's a big, long word that starts with a T, tangential slope of the grain down the center. And most all of our bats are
When you
super
see that,
straight.
is that straight?
Looks straight to me.
Yeah, it looks well. You had to be looking at the point actually, so to see that that bat is straight or not. So and then when you paint, how do you know the grain? What did you leave a spot or something like that, or what do you
we
do?
use an ink dot. So according to the MLB rules, we got to go from anywhere from 12 to 14 inches. 13 would be a nice happy spot, but I'm just kind of weird about number 13. I think it's unlucky, even though if you look back at the history, number 13 is supposed to represent luck. But I like to go in between 12 and 13, usually 12 and a half. And you put the ink dot on when it's raw after you sand it, and it seeps into the grains, and it pops the grains really well so that you can see the slope. And then we've got our little tool that we check it with to make sure that it's within 3. And if anything's above 3, we don't sell it.
Okay.
Flat out. You might have seen we got a pallet of bats that are just stacking up.
Yeah.
We don't sell. If it's close to being not good, we don't sell it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in your facility every week, so I'm trying to stay on top of everything that a custom bat needs, because I like my guys to use the best bat, and especially the organizations here locally. Are you willing to do custom bats for the local community, or how you're thinking about? I mean, I know that we're gonna have a part 2 of marketing and all the things that we need to have, and we're gonna have Marangi here with us talking about that. But if any organization is looking to buy bat for tournaments or something like that, because right now the wood tournaments start. Jonathan, we got live audience here. What age group start the wood bat right now? Like 11, 10?
I've seen 10, and there's been 9.
11?
9 and 10.
Tyler, have you played any wood bat tournaments yet? No. And you're what, 11, right? You're start 11. So, Jonathan, I don't know what you seen 10, but let's see 12U, 11U,
They usually
12U.
happen in the fall is when you see a wood bat for the youth ages. And as you know, wood bat starts 15, 16 in high school.
Well, you got a
The
wood
summer
bat
league.
here, right? The blue line. It's a wood bat tournament.
No,
And
Blue Line's not wood bat. Yeah, the
It's not?
fall wood bat classic.
fall wood bat classic,
Yes.
that's the one that you have?
That's in the fall.
That's in the
And
fall.
then Sykesville has the wood bat tournament around here. I don't know if you've ever done a booth at a wood bat tournament or.
I've done a bunch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he does a lot of the PBR, PE, and we're gonna talk about that
Yeah.
right now. But I just wanted to make sure how old they need to be and how small you can do a bat for 10, 11-year-old. What do you recommend? Any sizes for ages or how do you go? Because there are people that I got a lot to Walmart and they're looking for a bat and they're doing that.
They do that. Can
They
you hold
just-
it out?
Can you hold it out and can you handle it or they're measuring the hip and all that? How do you know that is the correct size for a bat?
This might just come with my experience in baseball, but as long as the player can swing the bat and the bat not swing the player. So as long as the player can swing the bat.
Yeah.
What if I have a bat model from another manufacturer that I love, but would prefer to have it made by you? Yeah, we just got done doing that.
It says
I saw it. I saw it. No, that's Josh. That's a really good question because
Well, the question comes: so can you replicate the cut?
yes,
of the
we
bat?
can. Yeah. Well, they can.
We-
Right? Yes.
It is something that we are going to be doing in the future.
I did it. I did it for Jackson Meadow.
And your 33 was
Yep. And
It
then
was one of the
no, we
smaller.
did it. We did it actually with Josh Boylan. Also, that that he told us the model that he wanted, and then we replicate the size and the shape of the bat so he can test it. So
yeah.
yes.
But that is definitely something that we will potentially be doing in the future. Right now, that's not on the board, but we will be able to do that.
The models of the bat, the numbers, what they mean. I mean, because they are like, I know that I did mine personal, and you put like JP 31, something like that, something crazy, right? Because it was completely customized. But you came up with the model. How do you do that? How do you come up with the models for the bats? Is that something personal or what that means?
So our models are based on, we wanted to keep it nice and simple. So a lot of times with different models, and even when I was early in the stages trying to figure out like what are all these different models, and I called a couple of companies up and they're like, oh, we just needed some numbers and letters, so we put it on a bat. And I was like, man, they got to do better than that.
Yeah, they have to.
And so
R2D2 and Chewbacca, yeah.
so our models, what they represent is kind of the feel that you would get. So we've got a speed balanced, which is similar to a 271 cut. It's a long skinny barrel. It's tapered slightly at the knob. It's got a skinnier handle. It's pretty much for like speed leadoff hitters. I don't want to say weaker batters, but someone who needs to be able to have control of their bat.
This for Tyler right here?
And so it's a speed balance. It's the perfectly balanced bat, and you can get a lot of speed behind it. It makes you feel like you can actually swing it when you're trying to catch up to some 90 plus, or that guy who's pitching against you that you might be a little timid of.
Yeah.
We got our tapered control. That's Josh's
Yeah,
bat.
Josh about that. Yeah.
He that has got a flared knob, skinny handle, and by skinny I mean it's 0.9, 0.91, 0.92.
That's really
inches.
skinny. Yeah, that's really
It's
thin.
not too bad because most everybody is at 15 16ths.
You saw Moylan's hands?
He was a big boy.
That's big boy. And then I was like, Moylan, I don't know. I think that is too thin. And, you know, when he tested, he was like, I'm going to talk to Justin to see if we can go heavier on that. But he really loved it. So,
And then some of like a thick handle is considered 1 inch.
yeah.
And then anything thicker than that is, it just feels big.
That's
It
too
goes
much.
back into like old days. And then we've got our powered speed, which is a combination of the 271 barrel with a 243 handle. It's the best of both worlds. We call it powered speed because you got the control, but you can launch a ball. I've seen some of the farthest balls I've ever hit with powered speed. Then we've got our loaded power, which is a very unloaded bat. The barrel on it is as big as we can make it almost within specs. And it's, if you're comparing it to a different model that you might know of, it's similar to a 243. We got the speed balance, controlled power, powered speed, tapered control, controlled power. Did I just say that?
Yeah, this is the first one. If you were gonna make a bat for somebody like Matt, what would you recommend?
Well, a lot would
If
go
you were
into
doing
that.
that,
So if I was legitimately like, Matt, I'm making you a bat, what would you like? A lot of little variables go into that, and it's what kind of hitter are you? What kind of pitch do you look for? What makes you feel comfortable?
everything is slow. So maybe.
And
Increase speed.
I would actually go for a little bit heavier for you. I would
Yeah,
go
he will.
whatever length you feel comfortable with, we would go from there. And then if you are swinging slow at it, try to get a heavier bat. So mass
I
moves.
think my swinging days are over.
Yeah, really.
I'm not a PO, I'm an EO. Eat only.
Eat only. Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's like me eating cookies, man. I love eating cookies.
Hey, Justin, we are finishing the interview right now. How they can contact you? How they can actually order their customized bat? And do you deliver the bats all over the United States?
We've got bats all over the country right now, and they can order it through quantumbats.com. And you can also follow us on all the socials, Quantum Bats, at Quantum Bats, whatever the handle has to be.
Yeah.
It's all the same. We are building our social media presence as we're going.
Yep.
But if there's a social media, we've got it. I got to check on Snapchat. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
I don't really mess with Snapchat.
Yeah, it says TikTok, Snapchat, all these crazy, my teams always do like a group chat or whatever, and they have me on Instagram. Some of them got me on Snapchat. Some of them got me on Facebook. The Dats group is always Facebook. College guys, whatever, they're using Instagram, and now the new era, they use Snapchat or TikTok or whatever.
Yeah,
so
TikTok
I
is
need
huge.
TikTok is
Especially that For You page. That's gotten us a lot of orders.
yeah.
Post a nice little fun video, and then by the end of the day, we got a few orders. And then as it picks up speed, you get more and more. So it's kind of exciting and interesting how social media has grown and evolved over the years to help small businesses and businesses in general.
That's why I wanted to grow the audience in TikTok. So we're gonna start doing that. Right now we are only on episode 12, so we just starting everything. Like you see, now we are a high tech, podcast because we're
nice
popular.
setup you got here.
And it's the setup start change every week. Freaking Matt just no, we need this. So.
But that's with any business.
The
You gotta
setup
evolve.
is just like, I started with a microphone that I think I bought in Amazon for $5 right now, and now we got the latest technology here for microphones. We got Aerocaster, the new iPads, the camera, the system, the Wi-Fi, everything is just a beautiful thing. I don't want to go ahead because I know that the marketing with you guys, you haven't go live with the page yet, and the marketing has not been out there. But I would like invite you for a part 2 when you are fully running.
Okay.
So you can come here with Marangi, and we can talk about how, prices and how we go into and what kind of customized bag we're gonna bring.
I'll bring a bunch of them.
A bunch of them samples already, so the people can see the capabilities that you guys have to make bat. But if you need a custom bat, contact me, contact Justin, go to quantumbats.com and make sure that you use code Juan. No, that's messing. there is no code or anything. But Quantum Bats, actually, if you want a Palacios basal bat or something like that, that I know that I love, or a lot of you have used it here, they love it. Contact me. I talked to Justin. Give me your size. The color is gonna be the same, but give me your size, the length, and the style of the bat that you want, and then we can go from there. All right. So, Justin, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Anything else that you want to talk about or say to the audience right now?
The one thing is, even though we are a new brand relatively, and pretty
Well,
much-
you're not.
oh no,
Not yet.
no, but in the grand scheme of things, I mean, Louisville Slugger's been a brand for
Yep.
oh my god, forever. But give it a try if you haven't heard about it. If you haven't swung it, or if you see a cue, I always tell my boys like, "Hey man, check out, look for the cue. If you
Yep.
see a cue, you know that bat's good. And whether it's on the barrel or on the logo, if you see the cue, you know that bat is fire. It'll definitely do you good."
Perfect. So thank you, Justin. Thank you, Matt, Jonathan, Tyler. We really appreciate you being on episode 12 with Quantum Bats. So love you and God bless you.